Right, I've just got to the lake. I couldn't work out where to go, either the Syndicate or here. This is Kingcombe. It's just a little day ticket water. There's about 7 ponds here. I've done a few videos on this place before. I'm sure you will recognise it as we start fishing it. Decided to come here, and I'm glad I did, because at the moment there's not a single person on any of the 7 odd lakes here. I'll be fishing a specimen. I've only got today. I have got work tomorrow, but I can always do the night if I want to. So we'll see what happens. First thing I'm going to do, I haven't been here for a few weeks. I did a session up here, the first session of the year. I like coming up here in the winter and autumn, just because it's more quiet. Because it's such a small lake here, you can only get sort of 3 comfortable anglers on it at the max. Sort of coming up here in the winter or autumn seems to be better because it's not quite so busy. The water's clearer, the fish are far more stunning, and although it's harder, you get a huge amount more of satisfaction when you do get a fish. Now, before I start, I'm just going to have a wander around the lake. I quite often like that side of the lake over there. I've had a lot of success over there, but at the same time, this end here seems to be a lot better at the moment. If I just pan round down to this corner here, without even looking at the lake and walking around it, already there seems to be signs of fish tucked up in this corner. I mean, I can't be sure of that yet, but there's constant ripples and bits and bobs coming down out of this corner here. I mean, that's not normally a spot that I would fish, but if that's where the fish are, then it's got to be worth having a little look. I don't know when someone was up here last. Could have been yesterday, someone could have got off this morning, who knows, but I'm going to play it safe, just keep quiet, stand back. I'm not going to set any bivvy up or anything like that until I know what I'm doing. Spend an hour here just sort of walking around. It's the sort of place where you've got to get it right. I mean, the fish are constantly patrolling around. You know, quite a lot of people follow the fish, chase the fish around. It's not normally the way to go. You end up spooking them and you know, letting them know you're here. Basically, I think the best thing to do is work out where they're holding up the most throughout the day, maybe work out their patrol routes and try and intercept them, set a trap if you like, rather than trying to chase them. That seems to have worked on here before. I've been soaking my baits, pop-ups and boilies, in some filthy krill and stuff like that. It's not really cold yet, so that sort of bait is still going to work. I mean, I've still been having results on it, so I'm going to continue to use it. I'm using quite a low temperature bird seedy bait, but soaking it in krill, I've got the best of both then. So I'm going to do that. Those have been soaking overnight. I've got a bag full of different zigs. Zigs are a killer on here. I've had 90% of my fish out of here on zigs. Although the water's crystal clear, at the moment it seems to be a little bit murky, so that could be a good thing. That might be that they're feeding, or it might just be the fact that it's quite cloudy at the moment and I can't see very well. So I'm just going to have a little wander around and yeah, see what happens. Next time you see me, I'll be in a swim, I expect. Right, straight away there's some activity, more or less in the middle of the lake where the outlet comes out. This used to be all gravel in front of here, but it's now starting to silt up and it's been like that and quite weedy. But if you can see here, fish is just topped. There's definitely something here. That's wicked. Already I've got signs of something going on there. I'm not going to go over and investigate, I'm just going to let it hang about. If you look on the other side of the lake over there, there's clearly a lot of bubbles and foam. That could have been fish crashing at first light this morning. I mean, that side's looking really good at the moment, but so's this, so it might be one of those days where, to start with, I might just go around with a couple of rods and just try different areas of the lake, really, but slyly, you know, and quietly. That's the most important thing, you know. Like I said earlier, I don't want to go chasing fish, but at the same time, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket and fish in the same spot. So if we just pan round to the right here, this is the little corner I said I'd seen movement in. Something just under that tree down there has just done something. What I'm going to do now though is climb that tree there to the top, and that will give me a really good view of the lake and give me a better idea of what's going on. Now, you've got to remember, if you're going to climb the trees, be careful, because this time of year they're really slippery, and make sure you're allowed to do it as well. Some fisheries don't let you do it, but it is a great way, if you can do it slyly. It's a great way of getting a good idea of where the bulk of the fish are, or at least one or two of the fish. So let's do that now, and I'll see you in a minute. Oh, there's that fish just again on that surface over there. Just over there, it's just gone now, but that looks really good over there. But like I say, I'm not gonna, there we go. I'm not gonna do anything yet, I'm just gonna take it easy and, right, anyway, I've enough talking, let's get going. Okay, so I'm halfway up the tree. I have been to the top, and what I've found out is the water is not quite as clear as I would like, but I have seen fish moving. I can't see fish because the water is just too murky. I mean, I'm going to hope that that's a real positive thing, because with any luck it might make the fishing a bit easier, but there's definitely signs of carp underneath this tree in this little corner here. I mean, that's got to be a foot deep there. And actually, wow, there we go, there's some fish coming through now. I wonder if we can get that on the camera. There we go. There's two of the ghosties coming through, and they're just coming under the tree that I'm stood in. Look at that. Wonder if we can get a better view. And if they come right under the tree. If they do, I mean, there's a nice big gravel spot underneath this tree here, and it'd be hard fishing, but certainly be worth getting a bait in there if these fish are going in and out the under there. Oh, already very excited about this place. This is why I love this place in the winter, because you can see exactly what's going on most of the time. I mean, as we speak, there's a silly amount of fish moving in this corner. I mean, it's, there we go again, look at that. It's literally only 2 foot deep there, maximum. And these fish are playing in there. This has given me so much confidence, because it means that they're active. You know, whether they're feeding or not, it doesn't matter, because as long as they're active, you've got a much greater chance of catching one. Sorry, let's pat camera pan then. Look at that, they're getting down in there. Anyway, I'm going to sit down, and there's that ghosty again. Sit down and actually work out what to do, because at the moment I'm just in awe, watching what's going on. Now, on the way over to the spot, I found some more fish. It's just held up here to the right of the island where the fish was jumping earlier on, or in a similar area. You probably can't see the fish on the camera, but I can only just see these dark figures underneath the water. There's one there. About there, we've got one. I mean, they seem to be getting everywhere. Since I've been here, they've been along this bank that I'm stood on, from one side of the lake right the way up to the other. So I think if we stop messing about and talking, we've got a good chance of getting one. Right, bit of an update quickly. It's just had some lunch. It's now about 12:30. I've just been over to my little gravelly spot, which I've been baiting up since the start of the session. I baited up to start with because it just looked good. Like I said earlier, had some crashing going on over there, so I went over and put some more bait in. You know, a couple of hours later, I've just gone back over there because there's been loads more crashing, and this time I snuck up the tree right above them. It's literally right on top of them. It's quite funny. It's quite adrenaline watching them. It's good. It makes you want to get a rod in there, but I'm going to give it a little bit longer because there's about 8 fish on it, and they're all just sniffing around. They obviously cleaned up all the boilies that I'd put down, and they're just hanging around now. So I'm going to give it until they go, basically, and I'm going to get a rod on it because although I'd ideally like to bait it up all day long and get them really confident, I've got a feeling I could probably get more than one fish off of it if I play it right. So rather than just doing it once before I go, for instance, I'm going to have a go now. Even if I get one that goes dead, I can rest it and try and get them back in there again, or you know, at least that'll be one under my belt. But certainly going to keep my eye on it over the next half an hour and see about getting a rod ready. Exciting stuff. One of them's the big ghosty, which I had a couple of weeks ago. There's 2 or 3 big fish in there as well. They're big, so we'll see what happens. Right then, this is what I'm going to do for my little rod, which I'm going to stick under that tree. Really simple. Yeah, I'll show you what we've got. First of all, I'm going to start with a little PVA bag, a little stick mix rather. Really small, you can see that, it's really tiny. The idea of that is not so much for attraction, it's the same principle as earlier. Just want to make sure that that rig is sat perfectly, yeah. Them fish have been going in there, feeding on singles, just little odd boilies, picking them up. There's only about 8 there, so they were confident. They've had them baits and they've not been hooked, so you know, their confidence is up a little bit, but at the same time there was only a few boilies down there and there was a lot of fish, so even if all of those fish had 1 boilie each, that's not a lot. So to make my catch, to make my chance of catching at its maximum, I want everything to be perfect, the rig, the bait, everything. So just by sticking that on there. The other reason it's so small is the fact that, like I said, they've been feeding on the odd boilie, and if they suddenly come across a boilie and it smells twice as strong as all the others, it's got a massive PVA bag around it, you know, all these pellets and all that, you might get one, but in my opinion they're going to know straight away something's up. So that's why I've got such a simple one. Then the rig, you can see that there, that's about, I'd give that 4 inches, 5 inches, little kink in it there. That's just to help it turn better. A bit more flexibility in the rig. It's coated braid. It's a supple coated braid. It's a Corda one. I like it because it's not really stiff, so it does sit on debris and stuff a bit easier, but it's still got a bit of stiffness there to keep it nice and straight. Business end, it is a full gone blown blowback rig there. I've got a ring. I've put a bit of tubing on because it's a long shank hook. The reason I've done that is because these fish are riggy. It means it's going to turn a lot quicker than an ordinary hook. Reasonably long hair, you can see that's about a centimetre. To the small 12mm washed out boilie. What I'm going to do is stick these on here. First goes on that. Then a bit of silicone or rubber stopper, whatever you want to call it. Slipped my mind this session for some reason. And then I'm going to fold that right over there like that, to the point where it's not up the line at all, it's only on the hook. So it's right on the end of the hook. So my stick mix isn't up to here. A lot of people slide them up lengthways. Even if I was going to use a long one, I'd put it on sideways so that the bait is around the hook and not up the line. The last thing you want is them to suck at the bait pick up this bit of the rig, foul hook them or miss a bite or spook them, you can see all this stuff's falling out. So let's get it in. That's great. And again, it's the same stick mix I was using earlier. Bit of salt, bit of krill. There we go, simple as that. And I'll stick that on a 1 ounce inline lead so we can just drop it in quietly when the fish have moved out. Trickle a few more baits in again, see if we can get them to come back in again. That's the plan. Right, well, literally it's been 5 minutes since I put that bait onto that gravel spot and it went off straight away. 5 minutes it was in there, probably not even 5 minutes it went off. And we've got this one. It might be a fish called the dark common, I'm not 100% sure. Certainly not the largest one in there. And actually it's got some tail damage and I don't think the dark common does, so maybe it's a different fish or it's had an attack since then. But 19 pounds 6 ounces, and it's lovely. It's a bit of a Popeye, but I guess it's probably quite an old fish. There we go. Fantastic. What a result. Couple of minutes pre-baiting, couple of hours rather, and just goes to show that if you put the effort in, you can get the result on a day session. Let's get a little photo and slip it back. Right, so that's 2 sessions I've done on this sort of autumn winter season on this lake. Like I said earlier, I like to target this one when it's a bit quieter and a bit colder. I like it here, a bit more of a challenge. I did last year here and had a few fish out over the winter, but there's still quite a lot of fish that I wanted, so I thought I'd give it another go this winter alongside the sort of syndicate, where I'll be doing more of a longer sessions on there. But this is more for just sort of, I just love these fish in here. They're all dark scaly things. The commons are black as a boot, they're lovely. So I've done 2 sessions and had 2 fish. The first one was the main target, which was the ghosty, the zip linear, which quite a few people have had. Quite a few people have had him a lot of times as well. He comes out quite a lot, but he avoided me for a bit anyway, so I had him last time. That was wicked. Then this time I've had the dark common. I just had a text from Clarky to say that is the dark common. That's another fish that I wanted, just because it's one of the darkest fish in here. It's a bit of a funny shape, it's a bit battered, a bit old. Its eyes are popping out a bit and its mouth's a bit, you know, hammered. It's got a bit of a chip in its tail, but apart from that, I mean, it's a nice shaped fish. It's dark and it's lovely and it fought well, so, and to stalk it, oh, it's wicked. So that's 2 fish I've had out of here. I've still got a lot of my session left to go, just having a bit of break at the moment. Going to bait up a few more spots around the lake. I've trickled a bit more baiting over there where I've just had that one. Like I said earlier, you know, if I were to fish it sooner, I might get a chance of 2 fish off of it rather than 1 fish. So I'll leave that for a few hours, see if we can get some more fish getting back in there again, see if I can get another one out of there. That'd be wicked. In the meantime, I'm just going to sort of scan around the lake, see if I can find some other nice little spots, bait them up. I'd really like to get one on the zig. That'd be wicked. I do like catching them on the zigs. It's really rewarding knowing that you can get one like that. It's just a tactic that rarely gets used. I mean, nowadays it's being pushed and pushed and more people are using it, but on this particular lake I
think there's hardly anyone using it. Most people I see here fishing are using bottom baits, you know. So yeah, if I can get one on the zig this session, that'd be wicked. I'm going to keep going. Now I've had one off the bottom. Now I've got fish in the bag. I'm tempted to put all rods on the zigs, although they're clearly coming off the bottom. I really want to get one on the zigs, so I'd rather put my eggs in one basket and see if I can get one like that. That'd be cool. But for the time being, I'm going to have a little walk around, see if I can find some more fish, or little clear spots and stuff like that, and bait up. Maybe think about where I'm going to be fishing this evening for the night. Bait that spot up. I wouldn't even mind marking that spot up now, because this is the sort of lake where I don't like chucking leads around. So if I can get it done early, then let the lake rest and just come back to it this evening, I won't have to do any marking or clipping up. I just know where to go then. Clearly they're having the bait as well. I mean, this is the sort of place I don't like putting the bait in, because I think a lot of people chuck bait in here, and I like to do things on a sort of more simple, subtle approach. But they're clearly on the bait, so tonight I might put in a reasonable amount and see if we can get 1 or 2 fish off of that. Came here for 1 fish and I've got it, so I'm happy. So anything that follows now is a bonus. See what we can do. There is another comment in here which I'd seen someone put a photo up the other day. I come across a photo, I think they had it a while ago. Absolutely mint comment. It's not as dark, but the mouth is perfect, the head, shape of the head, the body, the lot. It's incredible. Upper double, not very big, but it's a beaut. I'd love to catch him this winter. So yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Right, in the bivvy now. Thought I'd get it set up. I thought it's a bit early, but I'll get it set up. I was bloody glad I did, because it just started coming down, the rain. So that was lucky. So I sat in the bivvy now. It's probably 3, half 3, something like that. I could check, but that's a lot of effort. I've put in all my rods ready for the night. Again, like I say, it's quite early, but they're going to be in these spots for the night and for now, so you know, nothing's going to happen to the rigs in 2 or 3 hours, so they can stay there. Yeah, so I've got one on the left hand side of the lake. I've got the lake to myself still, so I thought I might as well use it. You know, it's a great way of fishing. If you can use the lake, why not? As long as you're fishing safely and you can get to your rods quickly enough, they're right there, sort of thing, and not 3 miles down the bank. You can make the most of the lake, you know. So I've got one down the left in an area where I've caught a few fish before. Just on the back of a weed bed. It seems to produce. It's about 4 foot deep. It's reasonably clear. I've put a pop-up on it on a helicopter rig. It's a great rig, works. That's what I've caught on in here before, so that's what I use again, with a little trib down B5 pop-up or mainline pop-up. To be honest, I don't know, because I put them in this glug earlier on and they all look the bloody same in there, so but it doesn't make any difference because they're all going to smell the same. So that's what I've got. It's come out quite pink, so I think it's a mainline one. Then the rod in front of me, which is about a rod length and a half out, which is fishing tight to the island. So let's see if we can have a look at that. You can just about see the clear spot on the camera there. A little bit of gravel. So I've put probably 25 baits over that, which is probably it's probably the most I would use in here. So I've got that one. There we are. I've got him shot just out there, with a bottom bait on this time, and that's just got one of these washed out boilies on, plum and pineapple, Hunter's plum and pineapple. I soaked it in. I soaked the baits in chili, salt. Excuse me, it's chili, salt, hemp oil, and krill, and I made a solution with the oil. I just topped up with a bit of water actually, and you'd have thought that oil and water wouldn't mix, but they do, because the oil was hemp oil is a low temperature oil, so works alright. So I mix it up into a solution. I put probably 400 grams of krill meal, pure krill, in the mix, which is quite a lot. But once I've soaked my boilies and I've taken them out, and then I air dry them for an hour or two, they're still wet now, but that's no problem because they're all washed. They look washed out, and they are washed out. Just got a little bit of flavour in it, really. I can put that krill liquid that I soaked it in back in the freezer. You see, that's what I've done, ready for the next session. Just whip it out and use them again. Anyway, that's the third rod. I do come up with some mad ideas actually when it comes to bait, but there we go, they seem to work. Anyway, and then the fourth rod is under the gravel margin tree spot, which is where I had that fish earlier. And actually, if I look carefully, there's some fish just coming through now off the end of my rod tip. There we go. There, look at that. That's the first fish I've seen for hours. Just coming through now. There's about, looks like 2. That's promising. Hopefully they make their way out to my bait at some point throughout the night. See, you've really got to look at the margins on a lake like this. Just coming up to them lilies now. People overlook the margins a lot on a lake like this, I think. But you can see, if you've got your lines back-leaded or real slack or whatever, they do come right up. You know, that's less than a rod length out there. Yep, so the right-hand gravel spot tree, that's just right-hand gravel spot. That's bottom bait, same as last time, and that seemed to work. And actually, I said earlier that I put a little PVA bag on it, but before I did that, the rod I reeled in to use to do the stalking with, I had a PVA bag on that, and there's still quite a lot of PVA left on it. Now, whether it's the quality of the PVA or whether it's the water temperature, either way, I don't want lumps of PVA hanging around on the hook, so I did take it off, and it seems to work fine. So I've done the same again. I've just put one down in that corner there, on that little gravel spot. It's been down there for about half an hour now, but I wasn't expecting an instant bite because of the fish I had off of it earlier, but I thought I might get one, come back on it again tonight, so I'll put some bait down there. I might even sprinkle a bit more bait in there later on, so that's the score. I would have done a bit more videoing, you know, the old scenic shots of ducks and all that bollocks, excuse the language. Everyone's seen it before, there's no point doing it again. But not so much that, it's the fact that I've got probably about 5 minutes left of video on my memory card, so I'm trying to use it sparingly. Right, time to chill out, got all the rods in, time to wait, have some dinner a bit later on. What I'll do is I'll catch up with you in the morning if I've caught anything. If not, then you won't see of me again, unless I lose a fish or something, or if there's reason to update, I'll let you know in the morning. If not, yeah, see you in a bit. Caught one fish, so that was cool. Nice. Right, got another one off the gravel spot again, on that right hand rod, the third rod, but it's raining, so I'm going to give it a few minutes, see if the rain stops, try and get a quick photo of it. Yeah, wicked. Wicked, bigger than I thought. Had to weigh him because he was heavy when I picked him up. 16.8. 16.8, happy. I think this is one my friend caught the other week. Well, I say the other week, at the start of the year. At this same spot, actually. Come on, baby. Yay for a couple of minutes so we can get a photo of you. There we go. Happy with that. Another nice common. This one's not quite as dark, but a lot more pristine condition. Look at that. Wicked. Wicked. Had a result last night, had 5 in total, had 2 this morning at the same time, and this is them now. This one, which I think I've had before, at about £12, so I haven't weighed it. Proper nice fish. Yeah, like I said, I haven't weighed it, but don't need to, it's just stunning. And then this one, which is even smaller, but it's got a hell of a scale pattern on it. Let's just move these fish around. Check this one out. Look at that. Like I say, not big, but proper scale pattern on that thing. Absolutely chuffed with these ones.